a KQED television production.
I'm telling you right now, I am hungry.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by
Redwood Credit Union, community banking for the North Bay and San Francisco. Business and personal, online and mobile, plus nationwide ATMs. Banking for people who call this place home.
Sutter Health CPMC announcing its newly opened Mission Bernal Hospital with all private rooms and comprehensive labor and delivery services. SutterHealth.org/Mission Bernal. Total Wine & More offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More, now with 8 Bay Area locations. TotalWine.com. IRG has thousands of surfaces in stock now. Surfaces, selection, service. IRG at MarbleCompany.com. Oakland International Airport, now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sbrocco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where regular Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. We have 3 guests, and each one recommends one of their favorite spots, and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. First, Tribal Councilman Dino Beltran wears many hats, from preserving the mission and integrity of the Hakoi Nation to producing and narrating a film to enjoying good food. He's also stacked up visits to nearly every Michelin-starred restaurant in the North Bay. And attorney David Firmino is a complex man, tenacious and driven. He enjoys the regimen of judicial recommendations compared to the excitement of arguing in appellate court. But it's his sensitive side that reveals him shedding a tear when describing a sublime dish. Actor, model, and shop manager Yvette Gentili is no stranger to the silver screen. From Hawaiian surf to Hollywood glam to down-home grub, she loves to do things her way, as does her pick. A place where slow-cooked, smoky meats straight from the wood-fired barbecue pit are the star attraction. In San Francisco, let your nose lead you to 4505 Burgers and Barbecue.
My love for barbecue started at a very young age. So I'm from Kansas City, so we grew up eating barbecue, and it was always a big family event. I'm Ryan Farr, chef owner of 4505 Burgers and Barbecue here in San Francisco. Every region is extremely passionate about their style of barbecue, how it's served, how it's cooked. One thing that's consistent in every region that I've been at is you're standing in line next to a stranger, you're waiting for your food next to a stranger, you're dining next to a stranger, so hopefully at the end of the meal, you're no longer strangers. One of the items that I love and I eat all the time, even for breakfast, is our best damn cheeseburger. It's 100% grass-fed, grass-finish. It's really simple and a great little bun and some Gruyere cheese, iceberg lettuce, and red onion, a little secret sauce. You know, cooking barbecue, it's obviously all about low and slow, and we get a lot of that flavor from the wood that we use. For the coals, when we're doing whole hogs, we use California oak, and with the barbecue and all the meats that we're smoking, we use hickory. You can see on our brick smoker over there on our pit, we have a big mural, and that's pig in or pig out. So you can come sit down or you can take it to go. Pig in or pig out.
All right, Yvette, let's talk meat.
Let's get to it.
I'm a meat lover like you, huh?
Me too, and 4505 is right in my neck of the woods, and I love it. When I'm craving pork, ribs, savory sweet baked beans, and a roll that you can just, sop all the juices up, it's no better place.
Oh, and it's got really one of the last remaining sort of fire pits, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, these guys really know what they're doing, and they really care about what they're doing. It's the highest quality beef that you can get. And plus, they give back to their community. It's good food, and it's a good feeling. And it's a family-style restaurant, too, and you can sit out, and it feels like you're at a a barbecue picnic, and if it's cold, they have the heaters.
Well, and Chef
Amazing.
Ryan Farr is really, truly a butcher. I mean, this guy knows how to cut meat.
Yeah, they started, I mean, many years ago, you know, selling their meats in farmers markets. So they've been doing it for a long time. And my husband loves it too. He loves the pulled pork sandwich. Oh my God. It's just like he just bites into it and it just like kind of drips everywhere. But it's just so moist and succulent.
So he gets the pulled pork, and what do you get?
I always get the pork ribs. Like, I'm a pork ribs chick, and the baked beans, and it's just authentic comfort barbecue, but really well done.
You know, when I first got there, I was going, wow, wait a minute here. There's no place to really sit. Yeah, then there's a line. I'm going, that's good news. And then I looked at the menu, and then he has this smoked pork pozole on there. I'm a pozole guy. Now, that was unique. The smoke on it was just right. You know, it wasn't overly done, but it still had that Latin flair, that red broth. It was succulent.
Yeah, my brother-in-law had the pozole. I'd never had the pozole before, and he loved it.
It rocked.
So, yeah.
It rocked.
Oh yeah, it was memorable.
The pork sandwich, the pulled pork, was fantastic. The mustard flavor in it is just knocks your socks off, and it was great. And I'll tell you, you know, it's kind of intimidating when you first get there because there's this long line, but it moves very quickly. It's well organized. Everybody there is super friendly, and it was a great time.
And what else did you have, David?
Well, I usually judge a barbecue place by its coleslaw. I know that sounds really strange. No, if because it reminds me of sort of growing up and eating barbecue on the East Coast. I'll tell you, the coleslaw was good. It was tangy, crunchy. It was perfectly sweet and salty. I really thought it was a hit.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed, I have to say, even though because I'm a big ribs fan. I had the ribs. A little dry because I think that's the style. I'm used to the kind of saucy, you know,
Smoked,
smoked, exactly.
You know, I have to disagree on the ribs. I think the ribs.
Good, this is fighting turn. I like it. Good. Come on,
No,
get it
but
up.
I mean, it did have the light, again, a light smoke. It's not heavy. You know, you know what you're eating. You're eating a good piece of meat. But mine was juicy. And they give you a selection of different sauces. You had your Carolina mustard. Then they had their house barbecue, which they were both fantastic.
Which is
I loved
awesome,
it.
too.
It was.
Yeah.
The other thing I had was just a pulled pork on the combination plate. But that pulled pork was not the stringy kind. And I was really impressed by it. It was big chunks, succulent meat, just delicious. I'm going to go back there.
Well, this guy, I mean, the owner is known also for his chicharrones. So, you know, this man knows how to fry some pork.
And I got 3 bags of chicharrones, opened all 3 of them up. They were lightly flavored. You know what you were having. It was great.
Yeah, and the best pairing ever with a good beer.
Yeah, that's what my husband and my brother-in-law always have, the cold cider.
And even though it's kind of a self-serve place, did you find that the atmosphere was good? And
I thought it was a hip, you know, spot, and sadly I felt like the oldest person in the joint as a result of that. Very young crowd, very fun, seemed family friendly. There were kids there enjoying themselves, so I loved it.
what about that Frankaroni?
Oh my God, the Frankaroni, perfect, like. I will call it a late night food for lack of lending any other nefarious quality to it, but I'll tell you, eating that was amazing. Macaroni and cheese with a hot dog inside, I mean, how could you, and fried.
Yeah,
right?
and
How
fried,
could you go
and
wrong?
fried.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
I judge barbecue by the beans.
Me too.
And,
Me too.
and these were slightly sweet, slightly tangy, savory, full flavor. It was nice.
You know, my husband had the French fries the last time. He had it with his pulled pork sandwich, and he loved it. It had like a aioli sauce on it, and
They
he
were
thought it was
amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah, they were amazing. What made them amazing?
They were just so spicy and tangy.
All right, this is your spot. Wrap it up for us.
4505, if you're craving a hearty country-style, authentic barbecue dinner, this is your spot.
All right, and David?
If you want an excellent pulled pork sandwich with a hip NOPA happening crowd, head to 4505 Barbecue.
All right, and Dino?
Great barbecue, one of the best I've had around Northern California. Looking forward to going back. I'm going to stop and get some on the way home. I just got a text from Nora. She wants some barbecue.
I love it.
Thank you, Yvette.
Oh, you're welcome.
If you would like to try 4505 Burgers and Barbecue, it's on to visit Darrow Street at Grove in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-231-6993. It's open every day for lunch and dinner. Reservations are not accepted, and the average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $25. The owners of Dino's Pick in Sebastopol may not be from Japan, but that hasn't stopped their commitment to honoring the traditions of classical ramen. And with selections of robatayaki and small plate izakaya dishes made with local farm fresh ingredients, Dino's a happy diner at Ramen Gaijin.
So Ramen Gaijin means ramen outsider, or the term Gaijin means outsider in Japanese. We just thought it was really appropriate considering it was a Jewish kid and an Irish kid making Japanese food. It took inspiration from Japan, done by people that were not from Japan. Hi, my name is Matthew Williams, and I am chef owner of Ramen Gaijin in Sebastopol, California, and this is my partner.
My name is hahn-schuman, chef owner. What makes our noodles really good? I think it's just the simplicity of them, the quality of ingredients. You know, we use organic flour and the right ratios of things.
We just thought that it would be great to author a different lighter style ramen. Ultimately ramen, when it's really good, is broth and noodles, but then you start talking about the toppings. If the egg's not done right, that's an immediate dead giveaway. Is it a 6-minute egg? It's actually a 6-minute and plus a few
30 seconds.
Egg. Yeah. You can go to any ramen shop and watch people approach it different each way.
I like to eat my ramen kind of sucking the noodles up through the center and then kind of eating a little bit of the ingredients around and maybe saving the pork belly for last.
My personal suggestion is eat it quick. If you were to wait 5 minutes to eat that bowl, it's going to be a completely different experience than if you were to chow in right as soon as you get it. It is a comfort food. It's soup. I mean, soup in every culture is
noodles and broth.
General, yeah. Once you eat it, you understand.
Now, Dino, I want to talk a little bit because you are the longest tenured tribal council person in Northern California.
I believe I am.
Wow, what does that mean?
That means that I've dedicated myself to service to my tribe. I've been doing it for 24 years. It's very self-fulfilling. Service to any organization is one thing, but when you do it for your family and for your relatives.
And that's Hakoi.
Hokoi Nation of Northern California.
I mean, Ramen Gaijin actually will talk about the food, but their beverage program is amazingly awesome.
Yeah.
You can get cider and sochu and Japanese whiskey highballs and the bubbles and beer. And
they've brought somebody in who knows what they're doing.
Absolutely.
They're very creative, top-notch, innovative. If you're a drinker, you're going to like it over there.
If you like ramen, you're going to like it too. Tell me what's your go-to dish?
Well, my Ramen Gaijin addiction started by knowing that actually the owner of this place started at another restaurant nearby where he did California-style cuisine. And then I heard he left and opened up this place. And what's he doing at a Japanese place?
They're not Japanese, neither one of them.
What's going on here? And I went in there, checked him out, and I found the spicy tauntaun noodle dish. And this is red chili broth, ground pork, charred cabbages, Whittier mushrooms, a big piece of pork belly, sea grasses, 6-minute egg, and it's a lot of food, but I finish it every time. And all my friends know if I invite them to dinner, they know where we're going.
And what did you have, Yvette, when you went?
It was amazing. We started with oysters, and they were phenomenal, just fresh. I had a glass of champagne to go with it, and then I ordered pork belly. Oh my gosh. Like, you just took a bite of this pork belly, and it just disintegrated in your mouth. It was so good. I grew up in Hawaii, so I know all about pork, and I know all about ramen. So this place just killed it.
Nice.
And I had the miso ramen, which was phenomenal. I mean, the broth, and they said that they spend 2 years putting all these recipes together before they actually open this restaurant.
And they use that really kind of authentic pork bone marrow, in their broth. It gives an opulence to it.
And it's so hearty and soothing and comforting, and it just kind of took me home. It was really nice, but it was really cool because you could tell everybody that was in that restaurant, like, they were locals.
And what was your experience?
I have to echo that. It was fantastic. We loved the place. I went there with my partner and his brother, who was here from Connecticut, and I wasn't expecting much because I'm not a ramen person per se. Fantastic. We had this dish. It was their take on pot stickers, but it had this dome of lightly fried crust on top. Well, when you broke into it, underneath was this most savory. It was just delicious and fantastic.
Well, and they do have things other than ramen.
Oh my God.
You have izakaya, so kind of almost like a tapas bar kind of cuisine, and you've got the grill, and so there's lots of other options besides ramen.
Absolutely, but the ramens, it put me in another world ramen-wise. So I now want to go to ramen places because of this place, and I want to go back. So it's fantastic. Everything was good. We had their take on chicken wings. Again, spicy, lightly seasoned, sublime. I think one of the dishes had ice plant flowers, which I had never had. So good. Just salty, but perfectly seasoned. Loved the place.
I had a dish too. It was like a smoked potato, and it had like a little potato chip that was stuck in there with an amazing sauce. And when you bit into it, it tastes like a stuffed mushroom.
Exactly.
It didn't taste like you were eating just a potato. You know,
Right.
It was phenomenal.
Right. What was the ramen that you had?
So we also had the ramen tantan, which was spicy, made you sweat. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
My husband had the curry that was like a Penang ramen, which is amazing too as well, and he loved it. Yeah, we really.
And
we
you felt
both
the
loved
service
it.
was fantastic. Is that something you go
Phenomenal.
back for?
Our server just kind of walked us through the menu, which was so helpful.
You walk in there, it's comfortable, it's casual, and then the food comes, and you're like at home.
And did you finish with anything?
I always get the black sesame ice cream. It's creamy. It's it's full flavored. They have some caramel spots in there.
It was spectacular. We had the Bing cherry sorbet, which changes with the season. As the cherry season goes on, it changes its flavor. It was delicious. We also had a warm, flourless chocolate cake.
Yes, I had that.
Which was paired with the lime.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely. You wouldn't think you would get good desserts at this, hole in the wall, really, in a nondescript mall. Fantastic. We would go back. We would make the drive
So would we.
just to have the Bing cherry
Absolutely.
sorbet.
Right.
It was so good.
Absolutely. The chocolate flourless cake was heaven in your mouth. There you go.
That's it. Mic drop. Done. That's it. All right, your spot. Wrap it up for us, Dino.
Fantastic, full flavored, Japanese style food. Go check it out.
All right, Yvette.
I would drive an hour away to go back to this restaurant. It was fantastic.
And David.
Get in your car, point it towards Sebastopol, and go and have the ramen. It was fantastic.
All right. If you would like to try Ramen Gaijin, it's on Sebastopol Avenue, downtown Plaza in Sebastopol. The telephone number is 707-827-3609. It's open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday. Reservations are recommended, and the average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $20. When you think of bubbly, you don't usually imagine the wine will look like this, deeply hued with a fine fizz. Around the world, there are beautiful red sparklers produced from grapes like Shiraz, Brachetto, and Lambrusco. Sparkling Shiraz is a uniquely Australian invention, and when you're down under, it's gulped alongside anything off the Barbie. I like it with barbecue ribs. Northern Italian red sparklers come in both dry and sweet versions. Lambrusco is made from ancient native Lambrusco grapes in the area surrounding Modena and Parma. And oh yes, it pairs gorgeously with salty cheeses drizzled in balsamico. Dry versions are dinner sippers, while dolce or sweeter styles make the dessert cut. The perfect chocolate wine? Brachetto di Acqui, a lightly sweet, lightly fizzy Italian rouge from Piedmonte. Heaven. Don't mind if I do. For an experience that will transport you to 1930 Shanghai, David suggests his pick, a Chinese restaurant reminiscent of the elite dining style of yesteryear. With elevated food and ballet-worthy choreographed service, it's not your everyday San Francisco dining encounter. Treat yourself to 8 Tables by George Chen.
We, as Chinese Americans, are very proud of our culture, and we want to be able to present it in that light. Hi, my name is George Chen, and I'm the owner and chef of China Live and 8 Tables by George Chen. On the bottom, we have a Bournoise. Chinese cuisine is one of the most respected, considered one of the great cuisines, and yet very few Chinese restaurants get recognition. Just my personal effort to want to change that. The 2 things I wanted to focus on was a marketplace restaurant where it was very casual, and then 8 Tables is the fine dining component, and it is based on Sifang Cai, which is private chateau cuisine. It's like coming to my home. Because it's never been done before, I had to find people able to compete with the best in the world. And I was lucky to work with Robin Lin, my chef de cuisine, and Daniel Lam, my executive sous chef. Both of them helped me create this vision. I want people to remember the food here, have fun. I hear people like squeal with happiness, and it is very, very personal. To me, really comes down to, people are spending good money here to eat Chinese food, and when they tell me emotionally how they've enjoyed the experience. And to me, that is the most satisfying part of my job.
All right, David, this is an experience.
Absolutely. From the moment you get there and you arrive on Kenneth Rexrock Alley, you are treated to a very sumptuous evening, and it's elegant from start to finish. The service is top-notch, and really to call this a Chinese restaurant is sort of like calling Guernica a painting. It's really, it's rich, it's moving.
This was, I mean, it was exceptional. It's like this secret entrance, you know, to get in. From the moment you go up into the elevator and you arrive, everybody is so kind and so warm, and then you sit down and this presentation, you know, that just shows up before you.
It's
Absolutely.
private chateau cuisine. It's this style of eating, right?
It's a 10-course meal. They start with something called 9 flavors, which are all of the tastes of the Orient, and they're in these beautiful sort of inlaid bowls, and they tell you about each flavor.
And the 9 flavors are sweet, salty, sour, bitter, numbing or tingling, spicy hot, nutty or fragrant, sharp, fresh, and smoky.
So you start with the salty, the sweet, the spicy. The textures are there as well, so there's one that actually numbs the inside of your palate.
Dino, what was your experience?
It was magnificent. It was fantastic.
David's over there like, phew.
David hit something earlier that I totally agree with. I had emotion going here. My emotion was running up, and I was like in awe, and the anticipation of each next course, because those 9 flavors of Chinese cuisine, bing, 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 and then all of a sudden it's a bang, then it's a boom, then it's an explosion, then the service is cool. Everybody is just down to earth serving this high quality food.
So good. And it was just a synchronized dance, the way they would pick up your plate. It was phenomenal.
Right.
I mean, this was an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, the greeting, as soon as I got there, Andrew, the general manager, he shakes your hand, he greets you.
Anthony, the sommelier, was fantastic.
Well, and the wine list, it's really astounding. And talk about chateau, they have many of the first growth chateau of Bordeaux. So well curated, that list.
The wine pourings are healthy, and they are from all regions. The pairing with each course was just perfectly chosen.
The gentleman who took care of the bar over there, he made me these mocktails. He made one called a Lily Pond, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
I felt
Absolutely.
so spoiled. It was
yeah,
great.
they do that there.
So tell me about some other dishes that you had.
One of the ones that I absolutely love is this dumpling that has foie gras in it, because it's just light. The dumpling melts in your mouth, and then you get to the inside, to the foie gras, and it's perfectly cooked. We also had the pork belly, another, here we go
yes,
with the
I
pork
know.
belly scene. What did you think of it?
Still, my heart was phenomenal.
Yes, yes.
It was a new experience every time you put it in your mouth. The pork belly was just succulent, soft. It made me smile from ear to ear.
Yeah, we had to try the cod. So the cod's in a banana leaf. There's these root vegetables in there, hot scallion oil over the top. It's light, it's flaky, it's succulent. There's not enough of it, though. There's 10 courses, and it really is enough. But you want more of each one.
But the soup, too. There was a soup, this sizzling rice soup that has this lobster in it. Was fantastic.
They pour this hot lobster broth over the top, and it sizzles. It's arty as well as amazing flavors.
There was the char siu also, which growing up in Hawaii, again, you know, I'm used to eating the char siu, but this was just so tender, flavored just right. And when you go back to the beginning and you think about those spices that they bring out, you taste a little bit in every single thing that they bring out.
Or as Dino says, holy smokes.
Right. Yeah.
The dumpling that I had over there, it had some trout roe on it. It had the breast and beluga caviar. It had some uni on top of it with really nice, slightly poached shrimp on the inside, wrapped up in this dough. And each one had its own little compartment in there. And I thought the unique part was every single service person knew the ingredients. They are on top of their game over there.
Let's talk about that, because this is not an inexpensive experience, is it?
No, not for the faint of wallet, but, and for that reason, a special occasion place.
Right.
But worth every penny.
And do you agree? I mean, because you had to shell out the cash.
It's worth every penny. It's an 11-course meal, so you know you're going to be there for 3 hours. So that's a long time. It's an experience.
Did you get your money's worth?
Holy smokes. Yeah, definitely so. We're talking about a level of restaurant experience that it quite possibly might be the best one I've ever had.
let's talk sweet.
So one of the desserts that they had, it's sort of reconstituted freeze-dried coconut that you break with your spoon, and underneath is this soft, sort of custardy-like,
creamy yeah, texture to it underneath.
So it's not just the tastes, which are sensational, and the coconut sort of, once you eat it, then becomes coconut again in your mouth. I don't know if there's any other way to describe that.
All right, David, your restaurant for us.
For a fantastic haute cuisine, Michelin-rated Chinese food in San Francisco, it's the go-to place.
All right, Yvette.
If you can, it's a must in your lifetime, a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
All right, and Dino.
Well worth the time, well worth the effort. Great job.
All right. If you would like to try 8 Tables by George Chen, it's on Kenneth Rexroth Place at Columbus in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-788-8788. It's open for dinner Tuesday through Saturday. Reservations are required, and the dinner tab per person without drinks starts at $225. I have to thank my fabulous guests on this week's show. Dino Beltran, who chose flavor-filled bowls of steaming noodles and broth at Ramen Gaijin in Sebastopol. And Yvette Gentili for her pick with its historic smoky wood-fired barbecue pit at 4505 Burgers and Barbecue in San Francisco. And David Firmino, who led us through an opulent, luxurious dining experience at 8 Tables by George Chen, also in San Francisco. So join us next time when 3 new guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sbrocco, and I'll see you then. Cheers. Did you guys have fun? Was it good? So now it's your turn. We want to hear from you if you visited any of our Check Please restaurants. You can post a selfie on Instagram, join the conversation on Facebook, and tweet us anytime. And don't forget to visit our website. All the shows are there, along with my wine videos and notes about the wines we drink on set. You'll also find our fun new web series, Taste This, where we celebrate food and drinks around the Bay. Cheers.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by Oakland International Airport, now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com. IRG has thousands of surfaces in stock now. Surfaces, selection, service. IRG at MarbleCompany.com. Total Wine & More, offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More, now with 8 Bay Area locations. TotalWine.com. Sutter Health CPMC announcing its newly opened Mission Bernal Hospital with all private rooms and comprehensive labor and delivery services. SutterHealth.org/Mission Bernal.
Redwood Credit Union, community banking for the North Bay and San Francisco. Business and personal, online and mobile, plus nationwide ATMs. Banking for people who call this place home.